Happy Wednesday, UnWoke Nation. I'd like to welcome you to episode 185 of The UnWoke Show, where free speech is welcome, all subjects are on the table, and your boys Rich and Tim bring you the latest and greatest for your entertainment, baby. I'm your host, Rich, along with my co-host, Tim. How you doing, Tim?
Oh, great, Rich. UnWoke Nation, guys, it's glad to be back. I'm glad to be back speaking with everybody tonight. I know we took a 2-week hiatus. Between summer vacation, beating the heat, me moving into a new home.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been, it's been a little busy. But anyway, guys, you know where to find us by now on all the major podcasting platforms, as well as you can reach us at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Again, that is feedback@unwoketheshow.com. And
Tim got a new pimp pad there.
Yeah.
Sounds got it.
Yeah, it is. 1977 pimp pad.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Got a little bit of flavor there.
There you go. So, guys, we are jumping into something that honestly was incredibly popular, I would say, about 2 weeks ago while we were off. I got turned on to it by a family member. It was actually on Twitter for roughly 2 days before it went off on, was it July 10th when it? No, it was, or was it June when the movie, it was only out for a few days and then it was gone.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting about how it came to the forefront, where I guess it just kind of depends. It looked like, not to be honest, it seemed like it was just over the course of several days, but it definitely was in the beginning of the month of July.
Yep. So we're talking about Citizen Vigilante, if you can't tell by now.
Yeah.
Armie Hammer, Bull. Quick Reader's Digest on Armie Hammer. He was kind of middle of the road actor.
Yeah.
He was, what is it, The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp. That remake. And then I think he was in the story about Facebook as one of the Winklevoss twins. I think he was.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, as we have talked on numerous episodes about immigration, illegal immigration, especially in the UK being overrun, different religions, different factions taking over, right? So the movie is on Amazon. I think you can see it on Apple TV as well. If you haven't seen it, it's only an hour and a half, but I won't spoil the entire movie. It's, like I said, it's only an hour and a half, so it's kind of hard to spoil.
Yeah.
The opening scene starts out with Armie Hammer as a young kid, and he's at the grocery store with his mom. Again, they're in Europe. They come out of the grocery store, and up comes this migrant out of nowhere and slices the mom's throat.
Yeah.
Okay. Armie Hammer witnesses as a young boy, his mom dying. So then all of a sudden, it flashed forward. And so during that time, you learn that he was in the military. His dad sent him off to boarding school. His dad owned numerous properties and was fairly wealthy in Europe. Of course, he's an American visiting, Europe, taking over for his dad, right? But he's fed up with what is happening in Europe, with what the immigrant population is getting away with. Okay.
Right.
Attacks, rapes, assaults, I think in some instances murder. Pretty much getting away with it, just like our sanctuary cities here, blue states, right?
Yep. Exactly. 100%.
But the flood of immigrants has taken over, refugees, whatever you want to call it, right, has taken over Europe. So, like I said, as Armie Hammer's character is clearly shaped by the death of his mother right in front of him by an immigrant who manages to go free, right? So he starts recording these manifestos, and his face is blurred, and he's broadcasting it out to the world. And he's gaining a lot of traction as the vigilante in Europe.
Right.
And you have a lot of people saying this is exactly what Europe needs, right? He's like, the only way this is going to work is if you yourself take back your country, right? I can essentially show you the way.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to be the ones to actually do it. And so
some very, very good lines are in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it somewhat echoes what we've got going on in the United States, although, we have done a significant immigrant crackdown, if you will. Thorough vetting. ICE is going around, right? We did a story about what was something called the Watchers in a previous episode up in Minnesota, where kids were filming ICE and numerous ICE run-ins. In fact, there was ICE is back in the news again, and on, I believe it's the East Coast, they had killed somebody and during a car pursuit or during a traffic or something, right? So we have no shortage of our own problems as it relates to the immigrant population. But what is very interesting is the passive aggressive nature of Europe. And so what Armie Hammer's character does is he comes across as very cold.
Yes.
And I guess he has reasons for that. But he starts visiting these victims in various locations, and he asks the question, do you want justice?
Yes.
Okay. And the first scene where we see that is this girl is in the hospital who has been raped, who had gone to court and everything, right?
Yeah, she's barely breathing,
barely,
obviously incredible pain,
and the court systems, and he asks me, he goes, "Do you want justice?" And she finally says, "Yeah." He takes that as his
green light.
Pretty much, and he goes after the people that attacked her.
Right.
In the meantime, he's being chased by an Interpol agent. They don't know really who this guy is that's causing all this and doing all this, right? And that's the premise of the movie. He's asking victims who want justice, as well as speaking to the community, that you need to stand up, you need to do something, because your institutions that are supposed and built to protect you are not protecting you.
Right. And that's something that we are definitely seeing a lot here in the United States, and have been for the last couple of years, of just seeing situations of illegals who have come in, and we have dozens and dozens of stories here in the United States.
Right.
Where people who are law-abiding citizens, or just citizens in general of the United States, are going out about their business only to have themselves being shot or something like that, or happening in the things that we have governments, local, state, and federal at that point,
right,
that were more concerned about offending people because the victim might be black, or because the victim has not found a way to learn to mold into society, or whatever you want to call it. So therefore, let's just go ahead and let them free. Meanwhile, we have American citizens who have been murdered and raped, or whatever case may be, and their lives are altered for life, if not ended.
So I just read, and it was today, about, no, it was yesterday. It was an article about a man from Laos.
Yeah.
That was in Minnesota being a sanctuary city.
Yep.
Raped his 10-year-old girl, who's now 12, and he did it numerous times. He even offered to pay her $10 to keep quiet about it.
Gosh.
And she had talked about it with her friends, and they were getting concerned and stuff, right? And so he had been acquitted by the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, who is his own embattled issues with fraud and stuff.
Right.
And then Marco Rubio had gotten word about what was happening and terminated his citizenship and deported him. And so now this gentleman can't come back. And so that particular situation would be something that Armie Hammer would go after, right? And there is a particular scene, if you haven't seen it, look it up. I'll go ahead and talk about it. Where a girl was raped, 7 boys, I think it is, had gotten off. The judge made the boys sound like victims, just like the woman. And so Armie Hammer finds out who these people are, goes to their apartment, and is holding them at gunpoint. Makes them sit down on the couch, starts talking. He says he believes that for every good immigrant, he believes that only the bad immigrants, had come to Europe.
I think what he said is, I don't think the good ones were. I think the bad ones that were let out, or something.
Yeah,
like,
the
however
bad
way
ones.
He said it.
The father tries to justify his son. He's always just kids. He'll be reformed. He learned his lesson. He'll be better for it. The daughter says, "Oh, she's a whore, wearing her short skirt and top, had it coming." The boy says that, "Oh, I thought she wanted it." And he goes on a pretty interesting lecture about it. And so Armie Hammer tells the boy to call his friends over here. Over here being to the kid's apartment, saying, "Hey,
Right.
There's new news. There's potential legal issues. You guys got to get over here. We got to discuss this. I heard from my attorney," right?
Mm-hmm.
So Armie Hammer, during that time before they arrive, executes all of them.
Yep.
The dad, the son, the mom, the daughter, the entire group.
Yep.
Okay. The boy's friends come over, they get blasted.
Sure do.
And the boys in this instance are the perpetrator, help perpetrate the rape and the crime and stuff, right?
The girl who's in the hospital.
Yeah, that was in the hospital and stuff. And just bam, bam, bam.
One at a time. Yep.
There's no questions. There's nothing. It's just, you're done. Leaves. And so then there comes another scene in the movie where it's basically a setup. And Armie Hammer's in this metal box. Interpol shows up. The SWAT, their version of SWAT shows up, and he's just comfortably in this metal box with 2 AKMs, and just lights the entire SWAT team up. Just toasts them. There's a few guys left. He turns out he dug this hole down this path, but the door to his escape route was booby trapped, and then it explodes and gets fired. These guys die. The Interpol agent, he's burned and stuff. And so finally, he continues on, and he gets the number of the Interpol agent in the hospital. And he says that, and the Interpol agent says, this has to stop. I have to stop you. And Army Hammer's character proceeds to lecture the Interpol agent that you have the means to stop this by talking and going up. And the Interpol agent's like, oh, I don't know that I can do that. I have to. He's like, no, you have to. It all stops when your leadership and stuff actually.
Right. And there's a symbol is that's a symbolic where he's trying, the director is trying to make a point aware so that basically it is the government's obligation to stop all this stuff happening.
Right.
And the fact that that's not happening, so leads to, like I say, Arnie Hammer's character. And I think that's what it just is. And obviously, guys, like, me personally, where I thought it was a really great movie, I'm sure a lot of what got its attention is just because it's rare. And I'm sure, Timmy, you would agree with this, where it's rare to hear about a movie that comes out that was actually banned in an entire country.
Yeah, Germany had blocked it. It turns out France had blocked it.
Right.
And there are only two camps on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was either this movie is terrible,
mm-hmm.
or people loved it.
Right.
Again, even Elon Musk had retweeted it on Twitter, right?
And yeah, and he left it up. He left it up to basically was like the next morning or something, for people to be able to watch it for free.
But there was nothing. There wasn't an in between.
No.
Group. You either thought UnWoke, I believe is his name. I could be pronouncing it wrong.
There's an interview I think he just recently did where in response to the movie, and people learned a little bit more about him. What I learned, I guess, it's not the first time he's actually done type of controversial movies, and also, but he has been involved in some movies we have heard of, whatever, in some way, shape, or form that turned out to be really good. Where I guess this was just one where he really felt he had to talk about, or create in this case.
So whether you're on the fence about Armie Hammer and was this his way back into cinema, because again, Armie Hammer has had personal issues where he was found guilty and even of cannibalism during sex and stuff, right? I mean, you can dig him up and you can read the dirt on him, but was this his reintroduction into cinema? Again, it's either yay or it's nay. There were people online that were saying, I hope there is a Citizen Vigilante 2, bigger budget,
right? Better cinematography,
better cinematography. Right, because it clearly struck a nerve in two different camps.
Mm-hmm.
The far left, oh no, this is not humane. This is not, and the far right saying we need to do this. And you and I were talking off air about the fact that we're both surprised that it hasn't happened sooner in the UK.
Right.
And here in the U.S.
Yeah, and I know you and I have spoken, we've said that on, for several seasons now, on how we see the amount of situations, we're currently talking about the situation of there being, obviously these people murdering and stuff like that, or, as of, like I said, just a couple months ago or last year, dealing with the guy who ended up stabbing the girl who was in North Carolina. And of course, there's many, many other cases like that. And yeah, we sit there and kind of wonder why hasn't, and between that and people doing protests and, blocking, it's like, why hasn't that been that one person or persons,
right?
And also that have basically said, enough's enough. And I think that's what the left is really afraid of. I think they're really afraid of, like, wait a minute. It's like they know that there's people out there that would be crazy enough to be able to do this type of stuff. And also, but I think what also scares them too, that you didn't mention, Tim, is the part of the movie where it seems like the news is actually interviewing some people who are social influencers. I don't know if it's a cameo of some that are actually real, or just they were just doing, people who are just walking down the street and asking, what do you think of Citizen Vigilante, and how so many people thought, oh, he's such a hero, he's trying to do this or to help people, and and the way society is, where I think there was so much, you could say, hint, clues that I think the director was trying to give, that, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, you start to look at Armie Hammer's character as a hero.
Right.
He's a hero for society, and a hero for culture and for civilization, wherever country that you might be, to say, it's like, look, we need to be able to have law and what's going on where. And I think that the guy from Interpol where is an exact symbol of the problem that we have, not only just here in America, but obviously this being a situation happening in Europe,
Yep.
where it's like, you have these governments, and actually some even monarchies like England,
Yeah.
and all these other ones, who are out there making these excuses for people coming to their country, ruining it.
Yep.
So, and I mean, and we're just talking about the immigration being one. You mentioned it earlier too. Obviously, we have a lot of radical Islam and stuff that's going on right now. Now, of course, we're not sitting up there saying here on the UnWoke show that every Muslim was somebody who's trying to cause trouble. We don't believe that. We do believe other people out there who want to come here, they want to do the right thing, or they want to raise their families. That's fine. We're all for that. What we're talking about is exactly what his character talked about. It's like, it is the bad ones that got in, that want to come in and cause the trouble and the rapes and stuff like that. These are the people where that you think that the governments or these parliaments or whatever you want to call them would be able to help the people, but they are not.
Yep.
And I think what it is that when you have a government that knows that they can take a movie such as this and take things into their own hand, it makes them nervous because they know they can't control them anymore.
Right.
So when that happens, it's like, that's when they want to start doing the bans and call the director, oh, he's a bad director, and this actor hasn't done anything in a long time, so it's just a desperate attempt to get back, on the big screen and all this other stuff, when really people who are thinking this way and just thinking, oh, they're just trying to do everything against illegal immigrants and all this other stuff, it's like, you are missing the point, or you have such dark rose-colored glasses, whether you live in England or Ireland, and of course, you and I, we both know somebody from Ireland, where shout out to her, or letting us know about what's going on there. We also hope to have her on the show one day, and tell us what's going on, and seeing these things that are going on in front of their face. We literally just saw, over a month ago, a man in Northern Ireland who practically was getting his eyes gouged out and his head cut off by some North African illegal that came into Ireland. That man's life is entirely changed, where he'll never be the same. And yet the same people that want to sit there and say about how, oh, we need to fight, some of them actually being people who are actually in the EU. Right. And we saw how that went down, or how there was a major vote in the EU where they sat there and said, okay, we're going to try to dictate how many people are going to be coming to your country. And a lot of countries sat there and said, the hell you are.
Yep.
Okay. So when you're having organizations like the EU and all like that doing it, these are the ones, and the local governments, that are allowing these people to come in, destroy the culture, destroy what civilization and safety that they have, and the people don't know what to do. And I think it's because of that why people started to get a little bit more watching this movie, started sharing it on Reddit and all this other stuff. The scene you described itself, Tim, had over 4 million views, and that was before the movie was released by Elon Musk.
Right.
Before it's like, for those of you guys who not see just that video, that portion of the movie itself,
you can go to YouTube. And
you can go to YouTube, where it's like, it's about what, good 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a 3-minute video, but it's impactful enough that you go like, this really just happened.
Yep.
So it's like, and so my thoughts of it is like, what? Obviously, it's like, people are tired.
Yep.
They're really, really tired of just having illegals coming in and causing issues, or want to sit there and try to claim asylum and stuff like that, because, part of what the father is trying to say, well, as you know, we have war going on in our country and stuff like that. So wait a minute, you're trying to give me that as a legitimate excuse of, while your perverted sick fuck of a son has the right to go out there and rape a girl who was all about just being out with friends, whatever the case may be, and that's your justification, and then you want to sit there and talk about how you want to put it behind a certain holy book's principles?
Yeah, no.
That makes no damn sense at all. And it gets me fired up about it. It's like, because I'm tired myself of hearing the excuses.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really, really just tired of that. So I think there's a lot to what you're saying, Tim. It's like, I'm very surprised that there aren't people like this particular character.
Now, yeah, I mean, let's keep it. We're not, advocating.
Of course not.
Right. We would never advocate that.
Of course not. Because there was another social influencer where it's on his podcast. He remembered that he said the same, like, hey, on here, we're not condoning there being any vigilante acts or like that. He says, but he will say this is a famous person who said this. So I listened to that episode on the subject as well.
Yeah.
He said, but I wouldn't be surprised if this happens within 6 months. At minimum. To find some crazy, because here, if we can have somebody crazy enough to sit there and walk into schools or want to attack a president or something like that, what makes you think there isn't somebody who's probably watched that movie, because we got crazy people, probably a couple times.
That movie is their manifesto.
Exactly. It's like, to be able to do that, it's like, who says that can't happen?
Right.
So me, like I said, personally, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it brought a lot of real facts to the forefront. One of the facts that's actually, and obviously we don't want to ruin the movie for you guys, we're definitely implore that you go see it, where you make your own decision, don't just go off of us.
And we'd love your feedback, guys.
Absolutely.
Hit us up on Twitter, on all the socials. We are out there, Blue Sky as well. Guys, we want your feedback. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You can email them to us as well at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. But Rich, I mean, is there anything else we really need to add to it at this point?
No, I think I think we believe in obviously being able to share our thoughts and have people, but we are very much about you guys, UnWoke Nation, being able to make your own decisions. We definitely would love for you just to go onto Amazon, buy, rent the movie, whatever you want to, make your own decision. We would love, as Tim said, we would love to be able to hear from you guys what your thoughts were. So, on the movie, do you think you look at Citizen Vigilante as being a hero? Do you think it's something that could be detrimental or could cause violence, or that whichever way it might be that you might face after watching this movie? We love to be able to hear from you guys. And also, but I think that's all we really have to say about it.
Yeah, we invite you guys to, subscribe, listen, tune in, let us know if there should be a follow-up topic to this story, guys. But we're going to cut it off right there. Again, you can reach us at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. Check us out. Tune in. We'd love your feedback. And as always, guys, stay unwoke.
See you next time.